What's up, guys? May 15th here, and we're going to run over some of the news stories that I've seen circulating the interwebs over the past few days, because I don't think I've done one of these in probably 3 or 4 days. And first and foremost, May 10th, we had a satellite anomaly caught on the stereo satellite, the Core 2 satellite. A buddy of mine sent this my way, and I'm going to put up a screenshot of it really quick, and you can see, interesting, right? 3 interesting spheres that we have in this picture. So apparently, somebody I had seen calculate it to be approximately 180 million miles away. Not too sure of how accurate that is, but hey, you know, check out this picture and check out the time frame. It looks like it was taken on May 10th. So if you want to do some investigation, go for it. But very interesting, and very interesting before I leave to contact in the desert in a couple of days. So I'm excited for that. We'll see what happens there. Anyway, next we go into the Russia and Syria shtick, right? Because perusing all the mainstream media rags, especially like CNN and Washington Post, they've really just beaten that dead horse with the both Syria and the Russia gig. Washington Post, I just saw this headline article on them just a few minutes ago. They said, Syria using crematorium to hide executions, State Department says. Now, what the State Department is doing, it's some dude, some, assistant official in the State Department. He was quoting an Amnesty International report that just came out. Remember, Amnesty International, they're like State Department propaganda centered. So what I think they're really trying to muddy the waters in the mainstream media with this is that there's acting like it's the government itself saying that Syria is killing people, but when remember, it's factions of the government. So there's a lot of like he said, she said, and it's almost a civil war type thing going on. So anyway, we have to see the news behind the news with a lot of the stories they're putting out. And then both WAPO and CNN, they're really, again, beating the dead horse with the Russisch sitch. So one article I saw was by CNN. It said, what if the KGB was behind Watergate? It was just some like op-ed article, not even op-ed, just some like stupid speculation article, like why even write that? And then Washington Post, they had one calling, headlined, America should go after Russia for gays. That was basically what this article outlined. So it's really, they're just keep with that shtick. And anyway, let's move into the cyber attack, because this is a big thing that happened a few days ago, and I have yet to comment on it. I'm sure a lot of you have wanted my views, and a lot of you have asked me. But so far what's happened is that about 200,000 computers worldwide have been infected by this ransomware software, this virus that's spreading around a bunch of Microsoft computers. And even in the mainstream media, they're claiming the worst is not over yet. It's some awful thing. I actually just upgraded to a to a Mac computer from a Windows. I was running this like old Toshiba, so these videos will be a little bit easier for me to do. Anyway, when I was in there in Best Buy, she was telling me that her Geek Squad is having problems and all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm kind of going to a Mac right now. And there's a lot of possibilities I have, a lot of speculations I had for what could be really going on behind the scenes with this. We could be seeing a deep state retaliation for the firing of Comey, right? Or whatever else is going on behind the scenes. The deep state could have easily just let this out, because they were putting in the media that it was like the shadow broker's fault that this software got out there and something to that effect. And part of it did target the Russians. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe it was some type of retaliation that they're conveniently going to blame on hackers and blame on leakers and things like that. Get people to try to sympathize with the NSA, Like, oh, poor NSA got their stuff leaked and now it's destroying stuff. So when speculating like this as well, when understanding possibilities, I was talking to somebody the other day, you really have to like layer your thinking. You have to just think of so many, I was calling it like quantum thinking, because you have to think of so many different scenarios at once. Like nothing is black and white, it's all gray. There could be like 8 million different reasons that this thing was leaked by this one person or this one group. Who knows? But anyway, it could have been deep state retaliation. Little just tangent there. Could have been a ploy to infect computers with some type of like Microsoft update, because I saw a big push, especially on CNN, was to tell people to get the update or get the patch to protect from it. So I'm sitting there questioning like, okay, maybe they're trying to just patch up or infect or just get something on a bunch of people's Microsoft computers that'll go and download it because they don't even see what's going on. Could have been some type of civil war move, because I also saw one article somewhere where Microsoft was actually bashing the NSA for letting this out. So who knows? Could have been that. Could also been a good guy move, right? If this ransomware is infecting a bunch of Microsoft computers, who knows? I mean, maybe it's some type of data collection type thing. Maybe it's some thing put, you know, speculation. Lots of speculations it could have been. But anyway, I think the most likely one is probably some type of retaliation or whatnot. And, you know, an easy ploy to do some psychological operation and get people to blame the hackers or blame the Russians like they always want to do. And then next we're going into Trump's trips here. And this is coming up in about a week and a half. I think when I'm actually in California, Donald Trump's going to be, I believe, starting his trip in Saudi Arabia. I believe I read next Sunday he'll be in Saudi Arabia. Then he'll go to Israel and then to the Vatican. So this is a big trip coming up. And it's very interesting because we have one, Pope Francis, who just the other day gave a conference where he was saying he was not going to judge Donald Trump, which is a very interesting kind of, I don't know if I quite remember, but I don't know if Pope Francis has always been the biggest Trump supporter, but now he's like neutral. And it's almost as if he's scared, right? Because this also broke just a couple days ago. The Pope had to acknowledge thousands of sex abuse cases by the Vatican that are all backlogged. So it's almost as if Pope Francis is just trying to save face. He's trying to save his face because he's scared of the whole human trafficking and pedophile takedown part of this alliance that's going on. So that's interesting. Remember, Pope Francis, he's been saying a lot of interesting things just all across the board, not only in regards to this, having to acknowledge it, but the UFO issue, claiming that, oh, you know, alien life probably exists, and something on reincarnation. I don't know. He's going all across the board and trying to be cutting edge, but then again, it's like, dude, what's really under that Vatican in the form of books and or children? So all I see him doing is just saving face. And then I also saw this, interestingly enough to note, Trump may not move the American embassy to Jerusalem, because apparently Netanyahu has always been pushing for America to move their embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem because Jerusalem's so holy over there. And Donald Trump has always been a vocal supporter of Israel, but I don't know if behind the scenes, of course, he has always been that way or is that way. And now he's more openly stating, you know, we might not actually move that embassy. And I believe Trump was going to meet, or if he has not already met, with the Palestinian leader. And so I think, you know, I think this might be a turning point in when a lot of those behind the scenes dealings might actually start coming public. Like, you know, all the stuff I've been speculating on for like 4 weeks now might start coming public, especially around this trip. So it's going to be a very interesting trip to track, see what he starts saying, see what happens afterwards, because Donald Trump's also going to some UN meetings, I believe, after this. And then that preps us for Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin's, I believe, first meeting in late June, early July, something to that effect. So anyway, I believe the next 3, 4, 5 weeks are going to be very interesting, very telling, and also we will see who is next in line for that FBI director position. Because remember, Donald Trump says he wants to fill that quick. He probably wants to fill that before he leaves, and getting up on into June, because again, I think interesting stuff is going to happen. So anyway, I'll keep you guys updated. I'll do another one of these tomorrow because there's some stuff I just wasn't able to literally fit on my whiteboard, but a lot of science things I've thrown out in the media that I want to deconstruct for you guys. So anyway, peace out. More videos coming.